this video is going to be a little bit of a random life lately. Been up to a lot, obviously, as usual, and things get kind of varied. But one thing I'll be talking about is our new fence coming across here. So finally finished that project just now. So here's one for you guys. I'm working on this fence and I'm stretching, I think, this 4x4 sheep and goat fencing. It's a 330-foot roll, pretty big. Across some T-posts, I'm going from that fence over there all the way to the fence behind me. And for a while, what I was doing is to keep it nice and tight, I've been using some ratchet straps, and I've just been ratchet strapping to trees. So I did it once down there, and now I did it again. All I do is I put a bend in the wire, the top and bottom wire, so I can hook a ratchet strap onto there. And then when I got that bend, I just crank it tight, hold it tight, and just pull it across. There's probably other ways to do that, or probably something similar somebody makes. I've never really done this type of fencing with anyone, but I've also never really watched anything on putting this fencing up. But the problem I was running into is, if you look this way, there's no trees kind of near my line of sight, really anywhere down there. So my plan is actually just to take some chain I got and a couple of clips, run it between two trees that I do have, wherever they may be, and I might do one a little closer here first and then a little farther down, do it in a couple sections again, rather than just shooting for the whole thing at once. Take this chain, connect it with a couple clips, and then I can tie into that right on the fence line and jack it tight again with those ratchet straps and go from there. So that's my plan. I think it's gonna work. And along with everything else I'm working on, just trying to, not always Google right away. Not always turn to the smartphone and be like, hey, I can't come up with an idea. Can you brainstorm for me? I know it's good to learn from others. I know it's good not just to waste a lot of time making mistakes, but it's also good to brainstorm and use it or lose it. Do some creative thinking. See if you can find your own solution, and then, improve upon it, modify upon it, share it for all the world to see, and let people make fun of you and give you a better idea. There's other options than just Googling right away. So I'll see if this will work, but I'm optimistic. So here's what that chain looks like between those two trees there. I'll pick something directly in line with it and attach my ratchet straps here, and then when I crank, the trees will hold this chain still. I'll have a nice sturdy thing to pull the fence tight on. And then I made it high enough too where I can stand up the fence underneath and it won't really get in the way. So here, right in line with this, I've got a good bend to hold my hook in place. And then over here, since this doesn't fit through this chain, I put a clip on here. That holds the position where it's in line with the rest of the T-posts, and then it allows me to have a surface to jack to pull the rest of the fence straight. Overall, not bad for a little thinking, and I think it's successful. Also, I'll show you this. For the bottom one, to get it tight, since I only had one chain to use, I actually just went straight to the bottom of that T-post. So rather than being higher up on the T-post where I could bend it over, I put it straight, and all the pressure that's pulling sideways is at ground level. So I'm able to keep that tight and put it through here. And all I did is I took this and I looped it through it as like a cinch knot. Looped it through the hook on the other one. So it's holding tight. Jack this tight. And then, whoa, I can get the fence in here. And the top one's working with the chain. That'll do. So some good news right now is that the carp spawn is on. Carp is a fish that we choose to eat. And when they're spawning, you can get a lot of these really quick. Look at the size of that. There's really a lot of meat on them. So we've been canning some lately. We mostly just froze them in the past, but I want to make sure to be able to have them actually preserved, even in the event of a power outage. So that's important to me. Baby chicks are doing good. The wild edibles are still coming in hard. and I'm going to be checking out some stuff up in the garden, and we're gonna make some chicken soup, and then also probably get a harvest of the strawberries today. So pretty good. I'm gonna teach those girls how to shoot carp here pretty soon. Nobody let the ducks out. It stormed a little bit ago when they were working on some stuff, so they might have got cut off short. So with our ducks, I'm thinking the door might have just blew shut actually, and she should have babies here about any day now is what I'm told. So we got guineas in the incubator, we've got chickens in the incubator, we've got ducks that are sitting, and then we also have those meat birds. So we're gonna have a lot, Lord willing, of babies around here, plus the lambs and the calf and the rabbits, so lots. So one thing we were talking about recently too, I got things like, man, those walking onions, just look at them growing. Kind of they're walking. They're over here now. They started over here. But when those bulbs start coming in and are ready, we're gonna reopen some stuff on our Etsy shop. And I will just kind of let you guys know in the videos. Pretty much I'm not going to stop finding different ways to have home-based incomes just because of everything going on. A lot of the middle class is kind of non-essential right now. And there's some pretty bad implications for a lot of that. So we're gonna kind of continue to offer up different things like seeds and stuff. I just, Homesteaders Co-op got shut down kind of completely. So we're gonna do it through Etsy probably. And I'll just wait till some stuff is ready, get an exact count on everything, and then get them out there and list it so you guys can pick up, whoever wants some can. These guys are amazing too, look at this. All these little seedlings here in front are the volunteer Malabar spinach, all across there. And then you can see there's just so many here. Here's where I've been lifting them for the neighbors because that's in the pathway. But I figured I'd just let them fall, let them do their thing. And then these peas should be able to get up, do their thing first, fizzle out, and then we'll have the Malabar. This is some of the strawberries I'm going to be harvesting today. There's a lot of them starting to turn. This is one I'm super excited about too. I know I mentioned it briefly in a video before, but these onions from last year are about to flower and go to seed. That's a good thing, because if things get really bad, I'm gonna want my own onion seeds. We can just use the Egyptian walking onions or something like that as a substitute, or our chives or the wild garlic too, but if I can grow onions still, it'll be good. So having them go to seed is gonna be great. And then check this out too. I mean, these guys are about chest height. And this is the kale that we planted last spring. So it's done fantastic. I'm gonna bring some for the soup. It is putting out flowers and then seeds, and I won't be able to collect all the seeds myself. No matter what, some are going to fall to the ground here. And I think as long as we continue to amend the soil and do the things we've been doing, it won't matter, that we'll be able to still grow them really well right here. So that's kind of exciting. And then after a nice rain like we just had, I just like to come out here, find whatever I'm going to, in this case, add to my soup, make sure it looks good, pretty rinsed off, and then dice it up right here with the scissors. That way I bring it in, I just give it a rinse, throw it in the pot, it's ready to go. I'm not messing with cutting boards, not messing with knives, just having it ready to go, because I snipped it all up here. Strawberries on the top and my chicken soup greens on the bottom. Man, I pointed out the other year there's no way we would eat as healthy as we do if we had to buy it all. But when you look around you in a situation like this, there's just so much of it growing everywhere. It makes it so much easier to eat healthy. Not only financially, but you've got the incentive too of reaping the reward of all your hard effort. That is beautiful. Love it. Whoa, bugger. He's bringing up, what kind of plants do you know?
Yeah.
Peppers, pepper plants, and tomato plants. Good. Good bugger. We're gonna plant some of those in our hugel mound here. Traded some seeds to the neighbors for some extra plants that they didn't need. They got blown over in the wind. And then we've got some of these, like the black pearl, that was from last year. And then these scorpion pepper plants grew on their own last year. And I overwintered them in the bathroom with these black pearls, which are already flowering absolutely beautiful. So we're gonna get those in, right, homeboy? Now here's a fun one too. I'm not even sure what species of salamanders these are, but we're gonna let them go. So one unexpected thing about this fence has actually been the rough green snakes. If you see that guy there, we actually found 3 of these on this fence just the other day. Rough green snakes are more arboreal of a snake, and they eat soft-bodied caterpillars. They eat, grasshoppers. They'll eat spiders. They'll eat other stuff. So they are kind of part of our organic pest control posse on the property. See if this one will take back off. But yeah, for some reason, there was 3 of them just cruising along pretty much from here to the back pasture there. So that was really cool to see. So they were a little easier to pick out than if they were kind of somewhere in the grass, just because of the color. But that was really, really cool. Love seeing these guys around. So when you're starting with raw land too, a couple things that we're doing is making sure it's still a good place for guys like this, like that rough green snake, but also trying to use what we've got and make it work best for us, the native animals, the animals that we have that are domesticated. And you know, now we've got a goat over there, a couple sheep over there. They're mowing down this area and they're gonna clear out a lot of the underbrush. What that's gonna do is remove some of the habitat of the ticks. We don't like getting ticks, our animals don't like getting ticks, so if they remove some of that habitat, that's going to be better. There's still going to be a lot of habitat for other creatures, but we really do not want just ticks everywhere. It's part of why we have guineas and other stuff. Wow. See that goat there reaching up out of the bushes, getting the favorite leaves? I like seeing that. So one thing that this fence is going to allow us to do, if you saw at the end of last year, I finally fenced in the last part there, and now I've got this part fenced in. So we're going to actually be able to eventually rotate animals all around our property. The only part that they'll have to kind of cut across unfenced will be our driveway. So we'll be able to go from the senior pasture across the driveway to the associate pasture, back to our bottom pasture here, to this middle pasture, to the back pasture, heading up all the way around there, and then around the garden and back over to the senior pasture. Should work out really well. Pretty excited about that. It's one of the goals that we really had, and finally kind of coming into play. And they really do help tame Oh man, those are amazing. See, this is when the greenbrier is almost like asparagus, when it's just big, sprouting up like that. That's one thing too, as I mentioned in my 10 things you should have already done video, just talking about the uncertainty of the time that we live in and taking kind of more things into your own control, because you can't trust the system not to fall through, break down, fail, and eventually leave you starving to death. Understanding wild edibles and incorporating them into your diet. We do that on about a daily basis here. It's really blessed us, and if we had to, I bet you we could do a good job for quite a while just living off the wild edibles that we have access to. So when you add gardening onto that, you add fishing onto that, you add hunting onto that, and you add raising livestock onto that, you set yourself up really good. And that's one of the things where it doesn't take very much time or effort once you have the knowledge. You can carry the knowledge with you in your head. You don't need to carry any seeds. You don't need to tend anything. You just go out in the natural environment, or kind of those places in the city where it's kind of unkept, and all of a sudden you see that there's food all around you. Definitely something we love to do. So hopefully you guys enjoy that random life. I did want to put out something. I've got a couple different ones in the works that we plan on releasing in the near future, but just got to kind of finish those up and kind of had some of these random clips that we hope to do. Hope to kind of share, you know, and put out like this. And then soon I'll take Pinky Pepper bow fishing again, and rather excited about that. I think she'll get her own one soon enough. All right, guys, Papa out.